Okay, well, you've seen the title. I am quite rapidly approaching the point where I can no longer afford to continue my YouTube channel as a full-time creator. And unfortunately, due to my disabilities and chronic pain, I am honestly unsure if I would be able to guarantee continuing with the channel at all if I needed to go back to full-time employment. But I don't want that to happen. I love making videos. I love getting to do research and deep diving. I love looking into queer history and sociology and politics and making videos about stuff that is interesting or important that maybe isn't getting the coverage that it deserves. And I love my incredible, nuanced, thoughtful, compassionate audience. I screen grab your comments and send them to my friends to be like, look at this. This is so cool. This is such a good thought someone's had. This is a different perspective. Even people who argue with me in the comments, who disagree with points that I've made, always do it in such a deeply compassionate way, in a way that feels like you are as excited about the topics as I am. And I do not take that for granted. That is the best part of my job. So I am not ready to give up. And as the thumbnail suggests, there is one last thing that I want to try, and it might actually make the channel even better. And that is becoming primarily community funded. Now, what does that mean? My Patreon is the only part of my income that doesn't rely entirely on algorithms and view counts and risking censorship. All it relies on is me making good stuff that you like. So this is me trying to see if I might be able to grow my Patreon community to fill in that financial gap that's built over the last year. All of my essays will be available for free still. Patrons just get some fun extra perks as a thank you, and I also have a stable income. So everyone wins. In the later part of this video, I'm going to give a bit of context as to why the channel's in this position. But first, I wanted to just let you know, if you just want to know how to help, this is the what you can do section. I would like to stress, I do not want anyone to feel pressured, especially financially, to support me any more than they can or want to. But here are some options. Number one being joining my Patreon community. So if you support me on Patreon, there are a bunch of really cool tiers and perks that you can get, but specifically for the next couple of weeks, kind of for this, I guess, community funded drive that I'm doing, anyone who is signed up at this special offer £6 tier or higher is going to get a personalized queer media recommendation from me. So it might be a movie, a TV show, a podcast, some music. We're talking everything. I am so excited to be doing this because I feel like I can really put my encyclopedic knowledge of queer media to the test. And I also wanted to point out that this is for new patrons, but also existing patrons as well. I'm not into that whole new customers only thing. It's just for everyone as kind of a thank you for joining me on this particular moment in my journey, and being a sort of founding member of this thing I'm trying to create right now. So on my Patreon feed, there's a bunch of stuff that I do occasionally. I like to experiment, dip in and out of stuff, but the things that are consistent and which people seem to really enjoy, I do a recommendation list, which is essentially me rounding up all of the different things that I have seen and watched and read that month that I think that you would all enjoy. And patrons will often recommend things back to me that I really love being able to dive into. I'm also going to be adding 2 new sort of perks elements of Patreon, one of which is going to be access to my scripts, along with kind of hyperlinks in all of the quotes towards sources, things like that. And also audio, podcast versions of my videos. So if you're someone who likes to listen back to video essays, they will be available as well. I am sorting out the technicalities of running a private RSS feed. So many hats that we must wear as YouTubers, I fear, but I'm excited to be able to do that. I know that a lot of people like to listen to this stuff rather than necessarily watch it all the time, so that will give you access to that. And then at the higher tiers, there's also more one-on-one bespoke stuff. So I send out postcards, I do welcome letters, recipe cards, and also at the highest tier, biannual care packages, which are very fun. I'm going to be shopping for these new ones in the next few weeks, and I feel like I know everyone who's at that tier quite well in terms of what they're interested in at the moment. So throughout the year, I will also be saving stuff because I know that I want to put it in their boxes. So yeah, it's already, I want to stress, an amazing community. I love my patrons so much, but I'm also fully aware that I have not talked about Patreon a lot. I have not been very frank about my financial situation and how much I need Patreon as more than a fun little potential tip page. We also have a Discord. There's also a thing where when you join, you can make your own slide on this like shared Google Slides doc, which you can introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourself as well. So we have this nice little slideshow of all of the patrons and what they're into and their personalities and their vibes. So yes, already I adore my Patreon community. Already I really, really do. It's a source of a smaller part of my income, but one that feels much more stable and that I actually like care about. And I'm really excited. However much it is extremely uncomfortable for me to be making a video like this, for hopefully it to grow and invite some more of you in. Being primarily community funded, I imagine mainly through Patreon, although I have a Ko-fi link and technically have memberships on YouTube, it would mean a number of things. So firstly, it would stop these kind of more uncontrollable metrics like YouTube views being the primary way that my channel is seen as successful. Number two, it would help alleviate the chronic anxiety and burnout that I have been experiencing over the past year or so. Number three, it would allow me to make more videos that are less like brand safe or like algorithm primed, because I wouldn't have to be as focused on views or potential views. This would also include being able to ask you all topics that you wanted to see me work on more. I, for example, have been waiting, and my patrons know this quite well, for a very long time to be able to work on a video about asexuality and kink, but I'm very aware that the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I don't have to host it on YouTube. It can be a video that gets posted like somewhere else, but at the moment I can't do that because posting on YouTube is what makes up a big part of my income. Number four, it will give me the ability to collaborate more with some of you on my work. So for example, doing like free events at your school or university or something like that. And number five, it would give me the ability to take on more risky projects that brands are not necessarily going to back because they don't know how to quantify them in a way. So for example, I just did the video around intergenerational queer relationships and the queer elders crisis, and that involved going to interview a bunch of people in person, being able to talk to people who were at the forefront of this kind of push for more queer elder care. And I want to be able to do more of that, to travel to gather more firsthand like oral histories and testimonies, maybe even fund larger projects that I can share with you that don't rely on these like very strict monthly brand dictated deadlines, like being able to develop my Blood Sisters documentary concept, which again, if you've watched this channel for a while, you will have probably heard about before. Because what I've really come to appreciate over the last year is that it's really hard to think expansively and creatively when you are constantly aware that you are like 1 or 2 months low video views away from your income stream collapsing entirely. If you can't afford to join Patreon, however, there are other things that you can do. As I mentioned before, I have a Ko-fi link in the description if you just want to do a one-off kind of donation to the channel. But you can also do things completely for free. So sharing this video, I guess, would be one thing, or my videos in general, commenting on them, engaging with them, all that kind of stuff. It really honestly does help. A lot of these analytics seemingly are unknowable, but engaging with videos, watching them all the way through, commenting them does help, we are told. If you know anyone who watches my videos who might be interested in supporting my Patreon, sharing the Patreon link with them would be amazing. And then finally, a little bit more left of field, but as part of my work, I also do a lot of in-person events. I've been doing a lot of stuff that is free or pro bono for sort of charities, organizations, schools, things like that. But I am very aware that there is a whole world of more, shall we say, institutional, corporate places where I can go and run the talks that I do. So I will also leave some information in the description if you maybe work for an organization or are at an institution or a school, university, who might have some kind of budget and might want someone to come in and talk about things like queer history, queer representation, and also the political side of moral panics, for example, are 3 things that I have talks on that I do, as well as workshops around getting into activism. So a little bit of a left field thing, but you can understand how those things pull together with the work that I do on YouTube. One of the things I've really realized while thinking about needing to make this video is the fact that over the last year, I've realized that being worried about my video views has sucked a lot of the joy and excitement out of my videos. They've sucked a lot of the sense of achievement, of importance, especially around the potential good that the videos can do, and also the good that I hope that they can continue to do with your help. But my friends have told me that at this point, it would probably be good to, and fine and not bad, to point out some stuff that actually my channel has done, some good things that have happened, and some reasons why actually it might be worthwhile supporting my Patreon. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to read this directly off my laptop because I cannot think of anything more terrifying than just looking straight in the camera and listing off a sense of achievement that I should have. But my friends have told me that they will come and hunt me down if I don't say these things. So, Rowan, you research and write a master's length thesis each month from scratch, and then you film, edit, and release it too. And that's actually worth something. Rowan, some of your videos are quoted in academic papers. Rowan, 2 of your videos are in the BFI archive of significant British online videos. That's also a thing that happened recently, which is wild. Rowan, you've been nominated for awards. You were on the Diva Power 100. True. Rowan, you wrote the first non-fiction guide specifically for queer girls. That also is a thing that I have done. Rowan, you've run multiple live streams walking people through ways to make a concrete difference, including helping them fill out responses to the transphobic schools guidance and self-ID consultations. I did do that, and I fear that I might have to run some more of them soon as well. Okay, yes, so all of that is true. Okay, before I do get into this, the bit of the video I said I would get into around the explanation of what the situation is with the channel, I am aware that a lot of what I've just said is real cognitive dissonance times where I both am excited for the potential of good that my videos can do, but also struggle to acknowledge the good that they do, even as I do read the comments and have little cries over people who have been impacted, and know in my heart of hearts that it means the world to me. That feels like something to bring up with my therapist though. So moving on, the explanation. I realize that people don't necessarily know how YouTube works. And a friend of mine, Stevie Bobby, actually put out a video only a week ago, going into a lot more detail about how YouTube works from the point of view of creators, and specifically why queer creators over the years, people who've been in the platform as long as her, as long as me, might be feeling some strain at the moment. I will link to that in the description, because I think if you want a proper long deep dive kind of narrative as to everything that's happened over the years for queer creators on YouTube, very good video. But I thought I would just talk a little bit about specific stuff that's been happening around my channel. So I am a creator who mainly relies on AdSense and brand deals. So AdSense is the money that YouTube pays me for the ads that they put on the videos. And then brand deals are the things where I say thank you to this sponsor, thank you to this brand for sponsoring the video, right? The success of those relies pretty much entirely on views, and views only. If you don't get views, kind of tough tits. It doesn't rely on how good the video is, how much it's connected with people, a difference that it's made, how long I've spent working on it, how good it is. None of those things really factor into it. Ultimately, it's how many views it gets. But it's also true that views on YouTube are ultimately pretty much out of a creator's control. And that is especially true for queer creators who have gone through various iterations of this, whether that be the restricted mode type of censorship or demonetization or age restrictions over the years. This means that getting views is harder, or sometimes the views that you do get are not able to be monetized in the same way. And this lack of control is not only an issue financially. For me, it has been an issue mentally, psychologically. It has put a real wrecking ball straight through my mental health in the last year or so, to a degree that I feel like a lot of my friends have been gently every month, as I have my monthly breakdown after putting a video out, been like, maybe at some point we should think about how tenable this is to continue like this. Hence why this video is happening. There are other complications that are within the minutiae of a creator's job. So for example, when you are working with brands, there's a lot of brands who won't work with people whose views are below a certain level. There's also a thing that happens a lot at the moment called a view guarantee. So this is within the contract with a creator, a company will say, we will only sponsor you if you give us a view guarantee. So the video has to get X many views in the first 30 days. If it doesn't get that many views, you have to do what's called a makeup video. So you basically have to record a second video and get no extra payment for that. So supposing you said to a brand, okay, I want to work with you, and they said, great, you can have £1,000 to make a video, you have to get 100,000 views. If you get under 100,000 views, you make another video, they still pay you just 1,000 for both videos. So you're functionally making £500 for me each month, because I'm on a monthly schedule. And for me, I think around a year ago, my views suddenly dropped and they haven't really picked up since. And the thing that I find particularly frustrating about this is that I think that the videos that I've made in the last year have been some of the best I've ever made on my channel. I am so proud of the types of videos I've made, the effort that I put into them, the experts that I've managed to get on board to give more nuance to this conversation, digging into more complex and in-depth arguments, covering topics that I haven't seen covered before on YouTube, like the queer elder crisis, things like that. I am so proud of this year's videos. And so previously, I was kind of doing all right. I could get by, like the amount of views I was getting were getting enough money in from brand deals, enough money in from AdSense. I had the Patreon, and it was all kind of leveling out. Since that drop off, because these two big parts of my income depend on views, my income's just gone straight down. It's directly tied. This isn't a vanity metric. I honestly couldn't care less how many views I get. Like, to me, the quality of views is what matters. And by that, I mean, is this something that's impactful to people? Is this helping people? Is this something that's educating people, that's adding to a conversation that people find interesting, exciting, engaging, something that they didn't know before, they hadn't considered, a different point of view? That's what's important to me. And I don't need like 100,000 views to do that. And I also see all of the excitement and joy that you all bring to like the live chat during premieres, to the comments. All of this is something I don't want to take for granted or to forget or to have to diminish, because what I'm told is the most important thing is literally just how many views did you get? What were the numbers? What were the metrics? Can you like screen grab your analytics? So for full transparency, if I look at my kind of projected income for this next year, if I take out anything that I might need in terms of expenses, so for example, if I wanted to work with a freelancer to like help research the script, being able to pay them fairly, the software that it takes to create and edit videos, paying for equipment, paying for access to online papers and research, I'm going to be making less than a national living wage in the UK this year. And that is before factoring in the fact that I might have those view guarantees. That means that I basically lose a month's worth of sponsorship money. Or maybe even that I run out of brands who I am ethically happy to work with, because I turn down a lot of brands for ethical reasons, who also are willing to pay me at all. That I might have months where I don't manage to find a sponsor at all who I'm happy to work with, and therefore get none of that income that month. Now, when your views go down, a lot of people have a lot of thoughts within this industry. I've been to a lot of creator events, I've talked to a lot of people, and there have been some suggestions as to things that would help. And those suggestions include stopping making video essays and turning to like 20-minute quick explainers where I don't really do as much research and I just cover the basics of a topic, because people will click on the topic video anyway. Working with people who are happy not to be paid. Even just getting ChatGPT or another AI program to write my scripts. All things that have been suggested to me. As I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do any of those things. Even if it would mean that, you know, videos took less time to make so I could churn them out in a kind of quantity over quality style way, or it would get more views through hate clicks, or it would save me money because I was essentially relying on unpaid labor. Listen, I don't know if you've ever watched one of my videos, but none of that was going to fly. So yeah, that's essentially has led to where I am now, where I'm having to acknowledge the fact that it is looking like this is no longer viable. With the types of deals that have come in, the amounts have increasingly decreased. And I am very aware of not just the financial viability of the channel, but also my own mental viability of running the channel as it has been, and constantly being worried about money and income and kind of where the paycheck's coming from. So with all of that said, if you would like to help support the channel, we have the Patreon. We have a new tier for the next 2 weeks, kind of an exclusive thing that anyone who pledges at that tier or an amount above is going to get this special offer perk, if they so wish, of a personalized recommendation. I'm going to be sending out to everyone who is at that tier at that point a survey where they can fill in like what exactly they might want to see. So maybe you want to see I don't know, like, oh, I want to see like a trans coming of age book which doesn't focus on tragedy. I want to see a like queer fantasy podcast where it has a ton of episodes that I can binge watch. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you can send it to me and I will be going through those and getting everyone their recommendations. And I'm also hoping to compile a list of the recommendations so that you can see not just yours, but like everyone else's if you've pledged at those tiers. Basically, if you've ever found my videos like helpful or entertaining or engaging, educational, meaningful, and have maybe wanted to support me, now is basically the best time to do it. And if you can't become a patron right now or ever, then if you want to support me, sharing this video, others like it, leaving comments, engaging with it is also incredible and so appreciated. So yes, thank you for watching and hopefully see you soon with some good news.